What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. A couple of stories to update for you this weekend. Maybe one today, two tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. But the Salvation Army, just in time for Christmas, was hit with a major controversy Thursday and Friday, and well, really into today as well. They have now issued a response. I've heard from people inside the organization, and well, I guess you'll have to be the judge on this. So we have a couple of instances where the Salvation Army's guide to the isms tells white Americans that this sort of stuff is systemic and that color blindness is harmful. Maybe this also via the National Review. Salvation Army peddles critical race theory, urges members to confront their evils. Well, there's innumerable articles that came out in the last couple of hours, and it was really heartbreaking to see the Salvation Army, first of all, an organization that does so much good. You see their red kettles everywhere here in America, an organization that I've always donated to at every possible chance I can. If I walk by them, I give them whatever cash is in my pocket. I suppose these days it's not as much as 5 years ago, just because people don't carry cash anymore. Maybe they should put a little swiper on those buckets too. But this was not a good look. The Salvation, the Christian charity, famous for its festive collection boxes and volunteers around holiday season, has adopted the teachings of critical race theory, urging members to actively confront their faith's historic racism. In a guidebook titled "Let's Talk About This," you can see here, looks like it does exist. It's labeled with the Salvation Army. Let's talk about it. A resource-developed guide to Salvation Army is gracious discussing the overcoming the damage racism has inflicted upon our world. They have a preamble here. They have a social justice commission designed to stimulate gracious discussion among Salvationists who choose to participate. This certainly looks like some woke trash. But again, they responded as well, directly to me, some people inside the organization, as well as through a blog post. And I thought it would only be fair to cover their response and let you, the viewer, decide if you think this is truly fake news, as they say. Of course, the Salvation Army's international position statement talks about, of course, all the same stuff. If we look at the glossary of terms, it's your normal woke trash. Yes, racism is bad in all forms. Okay. But when you're talking about individual or institutional, systemic, structural policy, I don't know. This is definitely using a lot of kind of the woke progressive language that people are concerned about. Obviously, we all should agree that racism is bad. I am not one of the people that believes it only happens one direction, though. Certainly, the internet has shown us there's many terrible opinions held by people of all races about other people of other races. And that's not okay either. That's an inconvenient conversation topic, too, because I don't believe that only one group of people can experience this. But the Salvation Army was quick to issue a response. As this country celebrates Thanksgiving Day, it's a welcome reminder of the things we are grateful for and for the power and service on behalf of those who are less fortunate. The Salvation Army mission statement clearly outlines our service to preach the gospel of Jesus and to meet human needs in His name without discrimination. That service and our beliefs are based solely on the Bible, and that has not and will not change. Though we remain committed to serving everyone in need, regardless of their beliefs, their backgrounds, or their lifestyle, I suppose that means the LGBTQIA people. It's funny if, anyway, it's just an interesting word they chose there. Recently, some individuals and groups have attempted to mislabel our organization to serve their own agendas. They have made outrageous claims that we believe our donors should apologize for their own racism, that the Salvation Army believes America is an inherently racist society, and that our organization has abandoned its beliefs for one ideology or another. In fact, an online petition asking supporters to stand against the insertion of policy-charged ideologies into the Salvation Army's good work, those claims are false and they distort the very goal of our work. The truth is, the Salvation Army believes that that racism is fundamentally incompatible with Christianity. We would agree on that. And we are called to work towards a world where all people are loved, accepted, and valued. Our positional statement on racism makes this clear. These beliefs are important because we know that it exists and that we are therefore determined to do everything the Bible asks us to do to overcome it. The Salvation Army has occasionally published study guides. Now, this is probably in reference to this, okay? They should probably have linked it here. On various complex topics, including race, to help foster positive conversations and reflection among Salvationists. The hope is that openly discussing the issue, we can encourage a more thoughtful organization that is better positioned to serve those in need. These guides are solely designed for internal use. No one is being told how to think, period. Strong statement. You like to hear it? The very purpose of the conversation is to share differing points of view, to hear from people with different experiences. Discussion is not indoctrination. It's what reasonable people do. It's how we learn and grow. Thankfully, not everyone thinks the same way. It's what makes us unique in the eyes of our Creator. Yet some people have taken the fact we have invited such conversations about race among our members as an opportunity to push their own agenda. In doing so, they have sought to shut down conversation, not foster it. We at the Salvation Army remain undeterred in our mission because we are confident in the power of the gospel and because millions of vulnerable people, Americans, need our help. We remain deeply grateful for the support of generous public, people from all walks of life. Well, I don't know if this is the only piece, but it's not necessarily inherently bad to discuss these type of topics and to, bring them to light. But it also is an interesting language. For example, we can talk about, how do we bear with one another in love? You can see here, they have a lot of these, they are facts, but the way they're worded is questionable. The number of black business owners dropped by a staggering 440,000. In addition, according to the Brookings Institution, white wealth is 6.7 times that of black wealth. Okay. That doesn't inherently, that may be a fact, but that isn't proof of racism. According to 2018 census, black households earned 59 cents for every dollar a white household earned. Again, that doesn't prove anything. These are very social justice orientated topics. Mass incarceration, maybe just stop breaking the law. Again, the U.S. prison and jail population has increased by 500% in the last 40 years, largely due to possession offenses. Unfortunately, black and brown men have suffered most in this increase. While white men have a 1 in 17 chance of being imprisoned, a 1 in 3 black men and 1 in 6 Latino men are likely to face imprisonment in their lifetime. Again, this is removing agency, right? Like, oh, well, they were breaking the law, but let's forget that. Do I believe that there's over-policing in areas and that, the way people are dressed or people can be pre-qualified? Yes, and that's not okay. But if you aren't in possession of things, you're generally going to be okay. If you're not breaking the law, you're not going to be a part of that percent. Are there things we can do to, give people a more fair opportunity? Yes. But again, this is kind of that same progressive talking points like, well, they can't help but break the law. They're just going to break the law. It's not fair that more of them are in jail. Well, again, how about some agency? How about some personal responsibility? So there are, this is definitely more kind of, I wonder if the word even exists in here. Yeah, again, privileges to white people, in disadvantages of people of color, privileged white people, privileged. This piece does not really help, that it's out there. Now, I will say this. Talk to people inside the agency, and it looks like they were talking about this Let's Talk About Racism Study Guide thing is real. And they say, although I grew up in the Salvation Army and work for them, all my friends and family mostly did too. And we never, ever even heard about this. I promise you that the Army is a whole lot more conservative than it is liberal. LOL. I don't like corporate pretend wokeness. And unfortunately, this seems to be part of it. Asking donors to apologize for racism is 100% false and probably started by woke leftists trying to stir the pot. It's possible. I think that this is one of those things where it got, somebody in the corporation got a side project to make this, and, they had their gender studies degree or whatever the case may be, and this is what it came up with. The agency, the charity still does an enormous amount of good, and the fact that they came out and responded, I think, is the most important thing. They came out and they didn't double down. They did acknowledge this thing exists, but at the end of the day, I think that their response was relatively acceptable. What do you think? Do you think this puts Salvation Army off the hook, or are you still pretty pissed off at them? Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.